G'day and welcome to this episode of Fix My Fleet with the Inforunners. Today I'm joined by Algared and the mysterious voice is Dr. Dante. How you doing, man?
Good evening, gentlemen. Doing well.
Good. So me and Algared are gonna have kind of poured over Dante's fleet here. I'm just gonna flick us straight over to the browser view so we can see his fleet here. And we'll get Dr. Dante to go through and we'll start. Do you want to start at the bottom, Dr. Dante, or do you want to start at the top?
Bottom works fine.
All right.
And this is the fleet you intend to have, correct?
That is correct.
All right. So take it away.
First one on the list, Cyclone RN. Simply, that could be an LTI token. It came in one of the packs I bought previously before it was taken out. Same thing with Dragonfly, also in that pack. Before they took it out of the store and raised the price.
Yep. Emerald.
The Archimedes Emerald came in the St. Patty's Day pack. Came this March. Just it could be an LTI token as well, or just keep it to have it.
Cool. And Nova.
Nova would be CCU'd too. Same with the Ballista.
And you just want that.
And that's a standalone ship, isn't it? Is that right?
They'd be in a pack, both of those.
Okay.
What's the reason behind having the Nova?
I like tanks.
You like tanks, all right. So is that the same thing with the Ballista? They're there for combat purposes?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Terrapin?
Terrapin came in the pack as well, but it's a multi-use ship. It goes well with the Polaris, and it's also just good in general for all sorts.
And the fighters? So the Raven, the Santoki, and the Super Hornet Heartseeker?
Saber is because it reminds me of a old American fighter aircraft. And I like the concept of the stealth of it as well. Mm-hmm. The Santoki, it's alien. It looks neat. I think it's probably very maneuverable. Probably a good dogfighter.
Yep.
Heartseeker, probably the same as well. It actually comes with higher grade base components than the other Super Hornet does. That's why I picked.
Okay.
The Ares is standalone, and that is purchased that during the original sale, and it is essentially the closest thing you can get to an A10 Warthog.
Yeah, actually it is.
Big gun for taking down ships.
I never thought of it that way, but yeah, you're right. SRV?
SRV seems like a good utility ship. It's a tow truck. It's good for towing ships that are broken down, good for grabbing just about anything, whatever. Not sure what the mechanics are going to be for the tractor beam it has.
So you're expecting to be broken down a lot?
Just maybe other people being broken down pairs well with things like the Crucible or maybe the Reclaimer.
It does indeed. And Sentinel?
Sentinel, I like the concept of the E-Warfare front. I realize the Vanguards are modular, but the goal with the Vanguard would be more of an E-Warfare type.
Yep. Starrunner and Connie?
Starrunner and Connie, daily drivers, decent haulers, quick enough, got decent weapons, can survive a fight if necessary.
Crucible, as you kind of mentioned before, just for repairing, so we'll kind of skip on that one. I can see the logic in that one. 600i.
600i, leisure ship, maybe a luxury transport for when they put that gameplay goes, not terribly attached to it.
Right. The Hercules A2.
A2 Hercules drops Moabs and is essentially the closest thing to an AC-130 gunship.
And the C2?
C2, good planet-side delivery, hauler, vehicles, cargo, etc. Good VTOLs for up and down.
Is that a kind of similar cargo situation with the Caterpillar?
Caterpillar cargo, I suppose, but the future modularity planned is the reason for the Cat. The Cat could go as well if it doesn't work out the way.
Mm-hmm. Carrick?
Group play, base ship, low crew need. A lot of fun when just going out with a few friends and getting stuff done. The ICU bed where you can respawn in is very helpful, and it's just a good all-around ship.
Yep. And Polaris, same thing, type of thing, I'm assuming, but more combat focused.
More combat focused, playing with friends, throw the Terrapin in it, go scan something out, maybe blow up a pirate base or whatever they happen to put in the game and be able to attack it from distance and then get in and finish things.
Yep. So besides the Crucible, I guess the Reclaim is your first type of utility ship. So I guess that's for money earning, yeah.
Money earning, right? Yes.
Yep. Banner Merchantman's similar, I guess, to the Caterpillar and the Hercules in a way. So that's for cargo hauling and your shops. So I get
Cargo
that.
hauling shops sits well with my play style due to my limited time occasionally. So you can have it doing things while you're not exactly highly.
And the Orion falls into the same bracket, I assume, as the Crucible and the Reclaimer.
Economics.
Yep. All right. Algared.
So my first question for you is, what is it you're actually wanting to do in game? I may have missed it if you've already said it, but tell us, what is it you're actually wanting to do? What are your goals? What things are you hoping for?
The goals are essentially a good all-around approach. If I get on and my friends are on, or I'm in an org and they want to do something, I can instantly go in and contribute without having to be narrowly focused into one thing.
Yep.
I'm in the somewhat enviable position where I can do that. I'm not limited by economic factors, and I don't want to spend a lot of time grinding in game for ships.
Yep.
Because I don't have a lot of play time due to my job and family life.
I fully appreciate that viewpoint. Now, you're also in an enviable position in that in your past you were a leader in a WoW org. Is that right?
I was the GM of a large raiding guild. That is correct.
So,
yeah.
And so you've actually still got contacts with about 20 or so people who
I do. Yes.
you'll be able to draw on. So we're looking at you actually having the enviable position of having 20 close people who you can actually call on to be your awesome help.
As well as anybody I may meet in the future. Yes.
So, yeah. So I think that really does bear into some of the things we'll say, I think. So probably the first thing I suggest is, and I know you've got 4 game packages, and I like game packages. I like them because you often get 20,000 UEC. You get the game package with the game assets, so it means you've got an NPC or another account which you'll be able to have. Oh, I want to be a pirate today. I'll play my pirate character. I'll play my UE pilot. I'll play my trader. So that gives you a versatility in your play style as well. But the thing I would say about your packages is you've got a lot of ships and a lot of versatility, but I'd try and look at maximizing my packages by working out what ships I actually want, what ships I know these are non-negotiable, and then getting those into the packages first. And that means if it's a standalone ship, you can actually melt that down, and that frees up credits to use elsewhere. Now, sometimes that's just not possible. In my case, I've got dozens of small ships that I'd actually love to CCU, but CCUing from an Archimedes to getting up to a Kraken or a Polaris becomes just impossible in terms of the steps to go through when I've got ships that are closer and therefore cheaper for me to CCU to that I also don't want. And so
right. Exactly.
that becomes one of the issues with CCUing in packages, but it's certainly the line I think you want to take in terms of trying to maximize your money and get the ships you want. So that's probably the first thing, and that's probably the biggest thing with game packages, and both the biggest advantage and also the biggest disadvantage of them. Execute.
So I guess I'll start. Like my stuff's always really short and sweet because I've kind of just got these established rules in my head now. So I kind of look at, say, the ballista down in this lineup, and I kind of go, well, they're all vehicles, all very small things that are just kind of not worth it. The kind of weird exception there is probably, and I don't mean this as in keep it, is the Archimedes Emerald, because it's meant to be rarer. But the thing is, it's still a ship you're not going to fly very often because it's a solo ship and it's weak. Like, why would you take that out when you could take the Saber out? As example. And you also have one that comes free with the Constellation here anyway. So Oh, well, you get the Merlin, but you get what I'm trying to say. So, you've still kind of got one already. I just, yeah, again, like, and the Nova tank and the Ballista are just so
Well,
overpriced for what they are. And I kind of, Algared?
well, the other thing in terms of the Emerald, the Archimedes Emerald, is the Carrack actually has the Pisces, which
Yeah,
actually
that's
has
true.
the same armaments as the Archimedes. It also has quantum drive, which the Archimedes doesn't have.
Mm,
It also has cargo space, which the Archimedes doesn't have, and it also has 2 passenger seats, again, which the Archimedes doesn't have. And so that little Pisces ship actually does everything the Archimedes does and more, and it fits inside the
yeah.
the
So,
the Carrack.
yeah, I'd consider melting those ones down, mainly because they're just vehicles are just ridiculously overpriced for what they are, and they're not going to really increase. Algared, is there anything else you want to say about the vehicles?
No, I tend to agree with you, and I know some of those vehicles, um, the Dragonflies and the Tumbril, I know they're in game packs, and so there'd be vehicles I'd be looking at CCUing from just to get rid of them
Yeah,
if you can.
yeah.
If you know that you want the Santoki Eye and the Santoki Eye is a standalone ship, I'd look at CCUing one of those to the Santoki Eye. I'd look at CCing one of those to, say, your Sentinel,
Mm,
because if it's a ship you want, and you're guaranteed, yeah, I want this ship, CC to it, and then melt that ship, melt the ship that you've already got that you don't need, and that frees up those credits to either use when something else comes out that you want, or to use towards something bigger and better, which will benefit those 20 people who you can draw on.
mm. So moving on to the Terrapin, I actually own the Terrapin as well. I have mine for almost a very similar reason to what you do. Um, I do question it a lot now, because it's an advanced starter, but I'm holding onto it in hopes that that scanning stuff is as good as I'm hoping it's going to be. But I do have my exit strategy, so I don't have any problem with you holding onto it as well, as long as you've got an exit strategy as well.
It could be a high value LTI CCU token as well
Yeah,
when something
Yep.
else in the future comes out.
And
yeah,
that's one of the problems I find with ships like the Terrapin versus ships like an Aurora. The Aurora, I want to get rid of them, or some of them, because you don't need that many, but I've got a high value ship which I can CCU into the ships I need, which means I'm reducing the cost I have to pay. And that's also one of the things you're looking at as you're looking at CCUing, and again, problems with
mm.
packs versus
Packs
standalone.
make more problems than they're worth, in my opinion. I don't have a single pack, and I'm so happy I don't. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, so I'm gonna probably try and bundle the Ion, the Heat Seeker, the Santoki Eye, and the Raven kind of together here. The one kind of thing that kind of steps out a bit there is the Santoki Eye being alien, so I've got no problem with people holding onto alien ships if that's their thing. Um, hell, for any ship that matter, but being all fighters, I think they're all going to be really relatively easy to earn in game. Um, and I just I as a bang for a buck effort, they're not something I recommend holding on to, especially as you know we've talked about this so many times, like sell your fighters 2.0 that we did last week. Those three ships, you melt one, you can almost turn the other two into things that are as big as the Star Runner in the constellation, um, which is just they're so much better ships that are going to increase in value, and you're going to use them every day. A combat ship, I doubt you'll use it every day, and if you use it every day, you will only use it for a small portion of that day. Where something like a Star Runner, you could go around it in all day, or a constellation for that matter. Aaron, anything else you want to add about the fighters?
No, I think I'd probably agree with in principle, that idea that the fighters, they are going to be fairly cheap to get in game. Um, Maybe the exception to that are the Santoki Eye, because it's alien, and we don't know how our relations with the Sion are going to be, and possibly the Heartseeker.
Mm.
Heartseeker, fairly unique because it was a Valentine's Day ship, so it's got special
That could fall in,
skin,
yeah.
and it also does have a different loadout from the others. So, how much of it is going to be
Yeah.
um, standard, or how much you're going to be able to get to that, I
Yeah.
don't know. But the hard points are different on that compared
Yeah,
to the
it
other
kind of comes
points.
back to that and you are kind of having a guess or a gamble. How hard is that going to be to get in game? And the other part of it is even taking a standard Hornet. How hard is it going to be to turn it into that loadout? And I don't think that's going to be that difficult personally. But maybe getting that unique paint job might be a bit harder. Algared, your thoughts on the SRV?
The SRV, I quite like the idea of the SRV, but it is the first. It is the first of its class, and I imagine it'll be a bigger one.
Yeah.
We do know that you can use 2 or 3 of them together to pick up bigger things, so that kind of says to me, yes, there'll be a medium or a large version that come along, which fits the pattern for everything else stuff CIG have done.
Maybe.
But I like it. I've got it.
Yeah. For me, it's like another advanced starter, $150, earn it in game. It's not going to really multiply in value. Your thoughts on the Sentinel?
I would probably mirror Sear's view on the Vanguard in terms of it's in a woeful place. But in terms of what Dr. Dante has said in terms of wanting an e-warfare ship, that is the only e-warfare ship that's currently in your fleet.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure of another e-warfare ship that's there.
Definitely.
Possibly the Terrapin might be able to work into that. Possibly the Star Runner might be able to work into that. But we don't really know at the moment.
Yeah. E-warfare is definitely a big gap in the market. Kind of like stealth. There's not too many stealth ships that go into the bigger territory, so hopefully they change that in the future. This is the first one that I kind of, when we were talking with Dante just before the show, one of the things I brought up was he was talking about how kind of like he wanted a bit of jack of all trades, and one of the ships I proposed was a prowler, and Dante's response. I'll let Dante respond. Dante, why wouldn't you want a prowler as an example? Because I recommend that as something that was missing from your jack of all trades lineup. Or a dropship is what I really recommended, didn't I?
You did, and my response is I have no interest in being a dropship pilot.
Yeah. But that said, you could turn that Sentinel into a hopper load if you needed to. So
it is modular, so yes.
Yep.
So that was when we were talking earlier. My thought on the Vanguard, you could turn that into a hoplite, which would give you the option to use it as a dropship for your friends, but also give you a heavy fighter still. So, but it's a
I'm going to put the Connie and Star Runner together because I think you and I both are going to agree everyday available ships. I don't have a problem. Connie's in a bad place right now, but I think that's going to get fixed out. So long term, I don't really have a problem. Your thoughts on those two?
Again, they're the daily drivers. They are the types of ships that most people will want. They are slightly different. Connie does have the ability to take vehicles. I do expect that even a standard Connie will have a wider midsection, just like the Phoenix has been given, just so that the Ursa rover can fit in there more comfortably, which was one of the reasons Josh Kearns did widen it. I expect that the Connie's docking mechanism with the P52, P72 will be changed if it's causing them too much grief. I kind of hope that docking mechanism is causing them grief, because if they have to change that docking mechanism, it will mean they actually rework the Connie and get rid of half those problems that are plaguing the Connie and making it absolutely abysmal. My hope is it'll be fixed.
All right. Crucible, I think we'll kind of skip because I think everyone knows that Algared and I really love that ship. Not many people own it. It's one of the least owned ships in the entire game.
Well, it may have been one of the least owned ships in the game, but I think from our videos, the sales may have gone up.
Maybe.
600. Drew my attention to it.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Videos drew my attention to it.
Well, yeah.
There you go. See?
600i, I think everyone knows what I think of that too, so Algared, I'll just let you speak there. I won't say anything.
600i, woeful ship.
Yep.
It's sold as an explorer or a luxury ship. It's not luxury. It's a science vessel.
Yeah.
It looks like a science vessel. It feels like a science vessel. It is sterile.
It kind of covers the area of the everyday available ships like the Star Runner and the Corsair and the Connie, but it's just more expensive and does less. It's weird.
I actually think it tries to be a Carrack.
Yeah, kind of too.
And you could actually do it with a Carrack. Even if you look at the way it's got the globe and the 2 seats, it really does look like a Carrack science station with the cartography lab.
Yep.
But it can't carry another ship. It can, if you get the Explorer model, take a rover, and it's more expensive than a Carrack. Like even now, it's more expensive than a Carrack. Why take the 600i?
All right, moving on to the A2. Now, Algared and I have talked about this one a lot in the past. It's really expensive for what it is. Not modular, can't kind of change things on it. One of my recommendations here, because we know he's got a big org, was to possibly consolidate a lot of these fighters and maybe the 600i and the A2 in and get something larger like a Kraken or an Idris. And Algared kind of said that as well. But you really like this ship, Dante. So give us a little detail why you think this 3 times the price of what it's really worth ship. Why do you want to keep it? Is it just the bomb? Is that it, or is there a little bit more to it than that?
It's the bombs. It's the can circle over a target and just annihilate it with the guns or the bombs kind of aspect. If you want to level something, you bring.
You what? Sorry, were you cut out there just for a little bit?
If you want to level something, you bring that.
Okay. Algared, is there anything you want to say again about that one?
Yeah, I actually, of the Crusader ships, this is probably the one I like least. I dislike it because the bomb bay mechanism actually destroys the idea of the Hercules model itself. So the Hercules idea was drive on one end, drive off the other end. The bomb bays in this thing actually make it that you end up with almost 2 separate cargo holds, and for me, that's breaking the key aspect of what this ship was. Yeah, you've got extra guns pointing downwards, you've got mother of all bombs, but if you're after just the bombing aspect of this ship, I actually reckon you could do it cheaper by getting a couple of Retaliators.
Yeah.
And I know Retaliator may not be the best ship, but in law, it is a torpedo bomber and a ground bomber.
Gives you a little bit of versatility too with the cargo.
And the fact that you've got modules, you've actually got cargo, dropship capability, living space opportunities, torpedoes, and hopefully down the track, also the bomb bay, which they had said it did in law.
All right. C2. How come C2 over M2, Dante?
Pure cargo, more space.
Less armor,
That's
though.
about it. Less armor, not really intended to go into a hot zone, though.
I don't think it's actually less cargo. It's just that because of the armor, the ship is physically harder to lift. So you can just take just as much cargo down to planet. And this is the same with the Starfarer G versus the Starfarer. If you understand how armor is going to work, it's heavier, so the ship has less power to lift it. So it can come down to planet, but trying to get it off planet with the same amount of cargo. So as long as and by the way, it is a drop ship, so you generally are going down, dropping off, and then leaving. So if you are using it as a drop ship, if you're using it just as a cargo, then probably the C2. But if you're using both, then I think the M2 is a better choice.
Probably gives a bit more versatility, but yeah.
Caterpillar. My recommendation for the Caterpillar, and again, I think Algared agrees on this one. We were talking about, he was talking about jack of all trades. It's similar to some of the other ships like the Banner Merchman and the other cargo ships that you can see in there, like the Hercules and stuff like that. And so what we had to add some extra gameplay was another ship that me and Algared really like, which is the Endeavour. It's not that much more expensive, and basically you're going to get all that added gameplay that comes with the Endeavour. And of course, being an older ship, it's really going to jump up in price, much like something like the other one, which is the Crucible. So yeah.
But I also know that when we were talking earlier,
that's right. Yeah.
Dante, you were saying that you actually really like this ship because of the modularity of it, and that's probably the one factor that does earmark it as being a ship that at least have a CCU2 or a plan to move from if you don't like it, or if you find, I do need to move away.
Exit strategy.
I think that in terms of the versatility, I actually think if you use the Retaliator, you get the same versatility that you're getting with the Cat, but you're also hopefully picking up that bomber aspect as well. So you might be able to combine those ships down the line, and that's something I think is worth earmarking as a possibility.
So the Carrack for me is kind of treading on the feet of, say, something like the 600i. So I kind of find that it kind of invalidates the 600i in a lot of ways. You've also got 8 people you can have on the Carrack. It's also got that mini docking ship on it, and you can also put a rover in it, where the 600i you can only do the rover. As Algared kind of alluded to before, it's kind of similar. Having one, I'd take the better one and lose the other one.
And it's cheaper. And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking to save money, I honestly think get rid of the 600i if you're only looking at the one ship, and keep
That's if you were able to buy it earlier. Not anymore is it cheaper, but it was cheaper.
Oh no, it's significantly more expensive now. The Carrack is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still, I think it's still the better ship. And since you've already got the Carrack, you don't need to worry about that. Get rid of the 600i, put the money towards something else. If you really do like that luxury exploration touring aspect, if you can, I'd look at the only ship.
If you're insane.
Yeah, okay. If you're a crazy owl person, the only Origin ship I actually really like and actually think is worthwhile is the 890.
Yep. I think it's worth it at its original 650 price, but I don't. But I digress.
If it's a choice of the 890 or 600i, I'll take the 890 any day.
Yep.
Because I think it had so much more versatility to gameplay. It has a bed with the ICU. It has a hangar that can take 2 small ships. It has a cargo hold that can take lots of cargo, or will be able to take lots of cargo when it's fixed. It does have a hangar, a cargo bay that can take vehicles. So it actually does all of those key aspects that the 890 can do. The hangar bay of the 890 can take the Terrapin. I think it can fit a regular freelancer. And so it can actually take quite a large.
So would you say you can fit a freelancer inside a Carrack?
In a 890.
Oh,
believe so.
oh God! I was going to say what the hell's going on, but yeah, in 890. Yeah, so
sorry.
Yes, sorry. I thought I was hearing things. Sorry.
So it's a bigger ship than the Carrack, but it can do pretty much the same things. I don't think it'll do jump point exploration as well as a Carrack.
No.
But it'll certainly do a lot of that exploration stuff. And if you pair it with a Terrapin, then you may actually get rid of some of those deficiencies that the 890 has, that the Carrack has. So that's an opportunity. That's a possibility. And I think an 890 jump also offers more in terms of group gameplay as well. So
moving on to the Polaris then. Polaris is, I think, if you're not going to get something larger like a Kraken or whatever, that would probably be the next base or an interest. Like it's the next step down. As in a mini base, I think you could call it, because you can at least land one ship on it. It would kind of work similar to a Kraken in that way, but you've kind of got more combat-focused roles. It's being capital, though. It's the smallest capital ship, so you're probably going to use it the most frequently of the capital ships in the entire game. I own 2 of them. I'm sure Algared owns 57. However many he owns.
Not that many, but I do own more than 2.
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite a popular choice, and I think I know Dyson owned one at one point and stuff as well. So I know Hayes owned a couple of them as well over the years. So
Dyson melted his for an 890.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He is, but that's life.
I think the Reclaimer, there's not much we really need to say about that. Good epic choice. It kind of pairs with the Crucible.
Yeah.
Banu, do you want to talk about the Banu Merchantman, Algared?
Well, I think the Banu is a solid choice. And I think with the Banu, you can actually get rid of half your cargo ships that you're looking at purely for cargo. It'll have 3 or 4 markets, so we know that's going to reduce the cargo capacity of a ship by about 1,900 credit units, because that's what will be reserved specifically for the markets. But that gives you a passive income when you're sitting in port unloading your regular cargo. It's a ship that we know goes from atmosphere to planet and vice versa. So it takes care of what the C2 does. We know that it, at least in the original artwork, it had a ramp, so theoretically it could take vehicles as well. So many of the things that other ships have, the merchantman does in spades and above. And so using that, you can actually get rid of a lot of your other ships that you're using for that cargo capacity. The Cat, the C2, possibly the Connie, possibly the Star Runner. Their ships, I think, easily get surpassed by the BMM. Execute.
I kind of agree with everything you just said. So I'll go straight on the Orion. I don't have a problem with the Orion either. Big economic ship. I don't think Algared's really got anything to add on that. But do you want to do a summary, Algared? Just go back over everything real quick, and in total, what do you recommend? Like 1 minute spiel.
If because of the situation where you can draw on 20 odd friends, I would be possibly looking at getting the Kraken or an Idris, because I think that will actually give you the ability to do things with the whole group. If you're after that small group or that smaller group of 5 or 6 friends, then your Polaris or your Carrack are your bee's knees. After that, you want something like a Crucible for repairing your ships. You want your cash generators, and everything else is gravy.
Yeah. My usual spiel is normal. So, you know, the fighters and stuff like that, things that you're going to be able to earn relatively quickly in game because they're not going to multiply in value when the game comes out. So consolidate them and get something bigger. And that's entirely up to you what you get. And kind of similar to Algared said, you know, look at ships that are doing similar roles like the cargo and stuff, and go into other gameplay areas that you know, things like the Endeavour. I know you say you weren't a fan of the Prowler and stuff like that, but that's even something I would entertain, because I would rather have a ship that has more gameplay than multiple ships that have the same gameplay. But hey, that's just me. Do you.
And one of the advantages of doing those, I know you weren't into the dropship aspect of being the dropship pilot, but it gives the opportunity for you to do those activities with the group. And sometimes there might be times where the group says, "Hey, let's go take this out," and you need a dropship for that.
I think in a weird way, though, that Sentinel kind of does cover that in a way, because you can turn it into the Hoplite. So maybe holding on to the Vanguard is a thing that might be good for you. And I am noticing there is a trend in a few of your ships where you've gone for modularity and multiple use, and that's why I'm kind of surprised there's no Endeavour there, because that's probably one of the most...
I'm also surprised why there's no tally there.
The same reason. So yeah, based on some of the other ships there, the Tully and the Endeavour really do kind of come through for me in that modular thing, because you've got almost every other modular ship in the game, which is kind of interesting. So, you know, maybe lose something like the 600i and pick up a Tally, and lose some of the fighters and pick up a Retaliator and an Endeavour. Cool. Has that been helpful for you, Dante?
It has.
Cool. We'll let
any
you get
last thoughts?
Yeah, any last thoughts? So we'll let you get back to us in a couple of weeks and let us know what you've decided.
I definitely will. We'll see what happens with this the Fleet Week sale, and what kind of things that the concierge access gives as well, if there's any changes there. But
so speaking of Fleet Week, if you need any help, reach out on the Discord. The link is in the description below, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. We are kind of suspecting at the moment that this Fleet Week will be like an anniversary sale, just recreated. It's funny how it's exactly 6 months from the other one. So if that is the case, we'll probably do an episode every day.
And could this be... here's a thought. Could this be why we haven't had any new ships in the 6 months since CitizenCon? And so it might be we're seeing a new sale model come out where we've got Invictus, Fleet Week, and Anniversary Sale being the 2 big sales of the year, where we see the new ships come out and be available.
And all the new ships that come out are flight ready and are just sold on the patches. So that's what I'm also expecting. So something new like the Cutlass Blue comes out, we know that that's coming up around Fleet Week as well. So that'll come out on when the patches come out, and they'll go straight into game, and you can buy them as well. And I know the Cutlass Blue's been for sale before, but I'm trying to use that as an example of a ship that's available on a patch. There might be a new ship called the French Fry, whatever it's called, and that'll be for sale. And we've never seen it before. But yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. All right, anything else you want to add, Dante, before we head off?
I think that'll be about it, guys. I appreciate your input.
Yeah, no worries. All right.
Oh,
He's been Colonel Algared. I've been Execute. He hates that name. And we'll catch you guys next time.
I do.
Bye-bye.
And we're out of here. Take care. God bless and be well.